राम 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 हरे हरे करोति वाचलं पङ्गुं लङ्घयति गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यमीश्वरम् So welcome all back to our uh, course on Bhakti Shastri. So we are completed we have completed fourth chapter. Now we are going to see the fifth chapter. Just a minute. So let's begin with the dedication. नानाशास्त्रविचारणैकनिपुणौ सद्धर्मसंस्थापकौ लोकानां हितकारिणौ त्रिभुवने मान्यो शरण्याकरो राधाकृष्णपदारविन्दभजना नन्देन मत्तालिको वन्दे रूपसनातनौ रघुयुगौ श्रीजीवगोपालको श्री षड गोस्वामी प्रभुगण की जय श्री रूप गोस्वामी पाद की जय. So, in the fourth chapter, we have discussed about various quotations which illustrated how pure devotees reject all the material desires, bhukti, and even reject liberation, that is mukti. Then we saw that there are 5 kinds of liberation. Sayujya, to become one with the Lord. Salokya, to live on the same planet with the Lord. Sarupya, to obtain same bodily features as that of the Lord. Sarshti, to have same opulence as that of the Lord. And Samipya, to have constant association with the Lord. So we saw that devotees are so much eager in serving the Lord that they are not even bothered for any of this liberation also. Forget about the first one, there is no question only, but even the other 4, we saw that verse which Lord Kapila says to his mother Devahuti. सालोक्य साष्टि सामीप्य सारूप्यैकत्वमप्युत दीयमानं न गृह्णन्ति विना मत्पाद सेवनं jana. He's saying that even though such kinds of liberations are offered to my devotees, they won't accept it unless they have service to me. So then we discussed that what is the devotee's desire is only service. And various quotations we saw from the Vritrasur, Gajendra, and so many others. Everyone was praying for that only, that I want constant service. And then we also saw that devotees of Vrindavan have only one desire, that is to please Krishna. They even reject personal liberation to Vaikuntha, and hence they are purest of all devotees. So this was a brief recap of what we studied in the 4th chapter. And then this chapter 5th, the purity of devotional service, it is entitled in this way. So here in the beginning, Srila Prabhupada says, somebody can read this?
Chapter 5, the purity of devotional service. All of the previous instruction impacted by Srila Rupa Goswami in his above statements can be summarized thus: as long as one is materially inclined or desirous of merging into the spiritual effulgence, one can't enter into the realm of pure devotional service. Hare Krishna.
So basically same thing. As long as one is materially inclined, means bhakti. And desirous of merging means mukti. Hmm? So as long as one is having desires for bhukti and mukti, one cannot enter the realm of pure devotional service. And what is the realm of pure devotional service? How it is defined by Rupa Goswami? How pure devotional service is defined?
9 steps, Prabhuji. 9 steps.
No, no.
Anyabhilasita sunyam jnana karma.
Correct, correct, correct. So there we can see that Anya Abhilashita Shunyam. So Anya Abhilasha is removing, rejecting all bhukti. Jnana Karma Adi Anavritam. So bhukti and mukti, they are not considered. Then it is not covered by jnana, karma, or any other processes. And then, but then how it is? The primary characteristic we saw, anukulyena krishnanu shilanam. That it is favorably disposed uh, towards Lord Shri Krishna and in the mood of serving Krishna based on the uh, instructions of previous acharyas. So one cannot enter that unless one is freed from bhukti and mukti, desires of bhukti and mukti. Hmm. So that is how important this is to understand and to eradicate from our life. So then further we can see that in this chapter, what are we going to learn? So again, it is all talking about Uttama Bhakti. So Uttama Bhakti is not dependent on. So the chapter Prabhupada has entitled is as purity of devotional service, that how devotional service is very pure. So how is Prabhupada or Rupa Goswami establishing that? He is establishing that by telling us that Uttama Bhakti is not dependent on birth. So Uttama Bhakti is not dependent on birth and it is not dependent on Vedic duties. So regarding birth, whether it may be high birth or low birth, whatever, it is not dependent on that. And also it is not dependent on any particular caste. So we'll see shortly about it, what it means. And Vedic duties, again, uh, devotional service is not dependent on purity of the follower. And Uttama Bhakti, devotional service is not dependent on Varnashram. Not dependent on Varnashram means it is not dependent that which Varna can take devotional service. There is no such restriction that only Brahmana can take or only Kshatriya take or only Brahmana and Kshatriya can take. No. Even a Shudra, even a Shudra or even somebody who is out of Varnashram can also take. Yes, Sanju Bro.
Sorry, Prabhuji, just one fundamental question, Prabhuji. The difference between caste and Varnashrama. I thought caste was more of Varnashrama itself.
Yeah, we can say like that, but the specific mention here about caste is that based on birth. Whereas actually Varnashram is not based on birth, Varnashram is based on activities.
Sure, Prabhuji.
Yeah, so that is what we can say. The caste he mentioned here is what is modern caste system, which is improper and which is based only on birth, like that.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Varnashrama means this brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha, those things, Prabhu?
See, Varnashram has got two words, Varna and Ashrama. Okay, so the Ashrama is the spiritual division, as just now what you mentioned, Brahmachari, Grahastha, Vanaprastha and Sannyas. These are the four ashramas. So a student or any boy in his childhood is supposed to practice Brahmacharya till the age of 25, from 5 till 25. And then seeing his inclination, he is told by his guru to take up to Grihastha ashrama. And then in Grahastha Ashrama, or during his stay in Gurukula till age of 25, his Varna is also identified. Hmm. Varna is what? Varna is in Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Shudra. That is a Varna. So by the time he is graduating at the age of 25, the Guru and others, seniors in the ashram, in his Gurukul, they identify the Varna of that boy. And based on that, then he is offered occupational duty. So if his Varna is identified as Brahmana, then his occupational duty becomes Patan, Patan, Yajan, Yajan, Dana, Pratigraha. He does recitation of Vedas, he teach them, he performs fire sacrifices, he teach fire sacrifices, and he accepts charity and he gives charity also. Hmm. So that is Brahmana. Then Kshatriya. So for Kshatriya, Bhagavad Gita says, Danam Ishvara Bhavascha. Kshatriya cannot accept charity. He is only supposed to give charity. He cannot accept charity. But then how he will earn? What is his source of earning? So taxes. Kshatriya, the source of earning is taxes. And in the return, he is supposed to give protection. Protection not just from the body, on the body, but also spiritual protection. So that is Kshatriya. And then Vaishya is Krushi Goraksha Vanijya. He is supposed to do farming. He is supposed to do cow protection. And he is supposed to do trading of the excess production what he has got. So that is Vaishya. And Shudra is one who is neither of the quality of a Brahmana, who is neither a quality of a Kshatriya, who is neither a quality of a Vaishya, but he just becomes one assistant to one of them. So that is Shudra. Just like we can see, a Kshatriya is the one who is there standing in front, ready to fight. Like Parikshit Maharaj, we saw example that he is ready to kill the personified Kali because he was troubling cow and bull. Hmm. So that is Kshatriya. He can, he has that daring. But Shudra may not have that daring. But under the guidance, Shudra may learn martial arts and he may participate in the this thing, what do you say, war under the guidance. He doesn't have the ability to go in the front, but in the back he is there. So that way. So similarly, Brahmana, there are some who are not at the par of learning all the Vedic mantras and with the meter and all, but they have inclination to be like a Brahmana. So they are like kind of Shudras who are assisting Brahmanas. And same with Vaishyas. So we see the people who are they are the most, they will work in fields, they will work in Goshala. So they are all Shudras who are working under Vaishya. So like that, the Varna is identified, and then at the age of 25, then he accepts Grahastha Ashrama. And according to his Varna, he starts earning his livelihood. And then whichever Varna, irrespective of whichever Varna, no, sorry, not irrespective of, Brahmana, Kshatriya, and Vaishya, they are told that they should take Vanaprastha at the age of 50. And only Brahmana is told to take sannyas. So that is how this connection is there between Varna and Ashram. So that is Varnashram. So Uttama Bhakti is not dependent on which Varna you are or in which ashrama you are. There is no concern on that. Is it clear?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So then, only the execution and perfection of devotional service is not dependent.
It's 7 o'clock.
You can see that there are so many other processes of. Yes, Pallavi Mataji, you have a question?
Yeah, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, the same thing, like as you have mentioned, like based on the caste only, the occupational duties are given at the ashram
Hmm.
or at a guru.
No, they are not given there. The training is given there based on the Varna.
Yeah, Varna is nothing but they'll see the caste again, what you have mentioned. Like if
No,
he's
no, no.
Kshatriya.
See, it is very important to, that's why Sanjay Prabhu asked that question, is a very valid question. When we say the caste, that has got a connotation in what is considered in today's day as caste. So when we are talking of Varna, it is not actually exactly caste. It is caste, but not the way in modern day we think.
Yeah.
So when at the age of 5, the boy is in the Gurukul, so then within few years, his Varna is identified by even the villagers are also the very prestigious people in the village. They are also participant to identify the Varna of the boy, apart from the Guru in the Gurukul. So all of them combinedly discuss and conclude that this boy appears to be of this Varna. And then they train him in that way. And then when he is graduating at the age of 25, he is already trained in his Varna. Let's say he is of Kshatriya Varna, then he has got the training as a Kshatriya.
So
Okay?
like if he's been into Kshatriya Varna, on which basis, Prabhuji? Means based on his qualities, he's given that Varna, or how is it?
Yes, based on qualities.
Okay, okay,
And there are many criterias for that, determining that qualities. And
okay,
that is also not decided by one person.
okay.
Like we have
Basically, the qualities in which he'll excel, he'll be given that Varna.
exactly,
Yeah.
yes. And
Okay.
that way he is given the training.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yes, Rakesh Bro.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, as you said, Brahmana only can take the sannyas ashram. So, as per the initiation, is it Brahmana or as per the Varna ashram?
As per initiation means?
As per after initiation, Brahman initiation,
Hmm.
so that person is able to take a sannyasa, or as per the varna that person can take sannyasa, only Brahmana.
So actual thing is as per Varna. Now, who is offered initiation? So initiation is also offered after seeing the activity of the person. It is not offered haphazardly like that, no? It's not that you apply for Brahman initiation, you get it. It is not like that. It is observed by the superiors and then they choose and decide. And for your information, within ISKCON, to take sannyas is yet another big procedure. There are many multiple layers of what do you say, evaluation. There are various committees through which the person undergoes. So there also again the evaluation is being done, and then sannyas is offered. Is it okay?
Okay, Prabhuji.
Thank you. So I was mentioning that other processes of spiritual realization, they are dependent on some external circumstances. But bhakti is not. Just like if you see Jnana Yoga, for a person to practice Jnana Yoga, it is necessary that he has a peaceful demeanor, mind is peaceful, renounced disposition, and very highly developed intellect to understand scriptures and the twisted language of scriptures in Sanskrit. So this is a requirement. If you don't have this requirement, it is very difficult for that person to practice Jnana Yoga. Similarly, Ashtanga Yoga. So it is, as mentioned in sixth chapter of Bhagavad Gita, that one has to go in forest, find a suitable place which is not too high, not too low, and then placing the asana there, he should sit and meditate. So all these conditions are there. Other than that, you cannot practice Ashtanga Yoga. And Karma Kand means what? That you achieve something, material benefits, by performance of some specific yagyas or ritualistic ceremonies. So for performing yajnas, one need to find out good muhurta, suitable time, then good place, suitable place. Then he needs to bring ingredients. There should be flawless chanting of mantras by the priest, and qualified priests are also required. So all these things are required. If this some of this there is flaw in any of one or some, then the result may not be successful. But bhakti is not like this. It is not dependent on anything. Neither it's not dependent that you should have some high intellect, only then you can become bhakta. It's not that only if you are in sannyas ashram, you have given up, renounced, and you have gone to forest, then only you can take bhakti. It is not like that. So there are no prerequisites, there are no conditions. And that's why Prabhupada has entitled this chapter as Purity of Devotional Service. It's completely pure, not dependent on anything. So now, how Rupa Goswami presents each item and refutes that, we will come to it. So first is birth. So now we can read from Prabhupada's book. I will tell from where to read, just a minute. The windows are open. So what we just now discussed is presented in the first paragraph. First line we already read. So then next Rupa Goswami states that devotional service is transcendental to all material considerations, and that it is not limited to any particular country, class, society, or circumstance. So the next paragraph, somebody can read.
Yeah, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. In the Middle Ages, after the disappearance of Lord Chaitanya's great associate, Lord Nityananda, a class of priestly persons claimed to be the descendants of the Nityananda, calling themselves the Goswami caste. They further claimed that the practice and spreading of devotional service belonged only to their particular class, which was known as Nityananda Vamsha. In this way, they exercised their artificial power for some time until Sri Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur, the powerful Acharya of the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, completely smashed their idea.
Just
There
a
was
minute. So here it is not Bhaktivedanta, it is Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur.
sorry, Prabhuji.
He is a guru of Srila Prabhupada. So now here you see that Nityananda Vamsha is the point being raised by Srila Prabhupada. That some class of people, they came up and they said that only for followers of Nityananda, this particular thing is there, not for anybody else. Similarly, there was another category who said Jati Gosai. That if you are a Goswami, if you are coming from the line of Goswami, only then you can practice devotional service. So just imagine, actually devotional service is so pure, yet after the disappearance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all these things were started. And there was no check for it. Until when? Until Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Means we can say around 100, 150 years ago. So almost 300, 350 years after the disappearance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all these things were going on. Devotional service was not open for all. Just imagine. What we have got right now is really a great mercy. If it was continuing like this, probably we would not have got devotional service. So, yes, go ahead, Mataji.
There was a great hard struggle for some time, but it had turned out successfully, and it is now correctly and practically established that devotional service is not restricted to a particular class of men. Besides that, Anyone who is engaged in devotional service is already at the status of being a high class Brahmana. So, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's struggle for this movement has come out successful.
So here, Rakesh, Prabhu, your question is also answered. Hmm? Anyone who is engaged in devotional service is already at the status of being a high class Brahmana. Hmm? So he's in the status of being a high class Brahmana. This Prabhupada has used and chose very nice words, very proper. He is at the status of being. Prabhupada is not saying he has become. He is on the status of being. And if he continues and cultivates the qualities of Brahmana, then certainly he becomes a Brahmana. Because Brahmana or Kshatriya or Vaishya is completely based on what qualities one is exhibiting. Yes, next paragraph, somebody can read.
It is on the basis of his position that anyone can now become a Gaudiya Vaishnava.
Whose position?
Sorry, Prabhuji?
Whose position?
That
It
high
is
own
class
position.
Brahmana.
It's one who's in their own position, like
Birth position by birth.
It is said it is on the basis of his position. That is, his position means whose position?
Position basis the
the
birth.
person.
No. Read it again.
It is on the
Prabhuji,
basis.
on the behavior of the devotee, basically the devotional service.
The person who is in the devotional service, Prabhuji, who is engaged in the
Who's
devotional service.
engaged in
No. Read the statement again.
It is on the basis of his position that anyone can now become a Gaudiya Vaishnava.
High class Brahmana.
No, read for complete statement
Okay.
till it gets full stop.
It is on the basis of his position that anyone can now become a Gaudiya Vaishnava from any part of the world or any part of the universe.
Thank you. Now tell me, it is based on his position means whose position?
One who
His
is
divine grace,
already
ऐसी Bhakti Vedanta Prabhupada or Siddhant Saraswati Thakur.
Means
Who is Bhaktivedanta and who is Bhakti Siddhanta?
Bhaktivedanta is Prabhupada. Bhaktivedanta, His divine grace, ऐसी Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada.
And who is
And
Bhaktivedanta?
His divine grace, Bhakti Siddhant Saraswati Thakur.
Who is he?
He is the basically he is
The spiritual master of
the guru. He's the guru of Bhakti. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada.
So similar names. So it all gets confused. Yeah. So it is rightly answered, but little bit. It is on his position. On his position means it is on the basis of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Because what was the earlier paragraph saying? Earlier paragraph saying that powerful Acharya have completely smashed their idea. Isn't it? So Prabhupada is continuing that. It is on his basis that anyone can now become a Gaudiya Vaishnava from any part of the world or any part of the universe, not just world, but from any part of universe.
Yeah.
Is it clear now?
Yeah, Prabhuji, on the basis of that particular Acharya, but position like his position doesn't mean that, right, Prabhuji? Basis is like what he said. On the basis of that, he'll be calling that person as a Gaudiya Vaishnava. He'll be coming into Gaudiya Vaishnava. But his position is not clear still, right?
Then what you feel is his position?
No, I'm not sure, Prabhuji.
Like, you should be feeling something. Na? If not
yeah,
this, then something else.
What I understood is like at what stage that particular devotee is, or irrespective of his class, creed, or anything, and at what devotional service stage he is, irrespective of that, he'll be becoming a Gaudiya Vaishnava. Like,
Okay, maybe grammatically we can accept that there may be some incorrectness, but if you see the mood of the flow, it is this only.
sure,
Anyone, see, the word anyone is referring to anyone, means any person.
Mm.
Anyone can now become a Gaudiya Vaishnava from any part of the world.
True.
If you just read from anyone, then what it is that anyone can now become. But how anyone can now become? Because it is on the basis of his position, or we can say because it is his contribution. Instead of position, if you use the word contribution, then it will make more things clear.
Correct, Prabhuji. Yeah.
So there may be, we don't know, there may be some transcription error or something else, I don't know. But you have to understand this, it is his position means it is because of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's contribution.
Oh.
Because of his contribution, now anyone can become
Actually.
Gaudiya Vaishnava.
Yeah. Yeah, Prabhuji, it's
Okay,
clear.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Anyone who is a pure Vaishnava is situated transcendentally and therefore the highest qualification in the material world, namely to be in the mode of goodness, has already been achieved by such a person. Our Krishna consciousness movement in the Western world is based on the above mentioned proposition of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada, our spiritual master. On his authority, we are claiming members from all sections of the Western countries. The so called Brahmanas claim that one who is not born into Brahmana family cannot receive the sacred thread and cannot become a high grade Vaishnava. But we do not accept such a theory because it's not supported by Rupa Goswami nor by the strength of the various scriptures. Thank you.
So I have already put that in the slide, so no need to again read it. Regarding birth, so this paragraph, our Krishna consciousness movement, is very important for ISKCON, all of us as a devotees of ISKCON. Because our movement is based on what Srila Prabhupada is mentioning. It's based on this proposition of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada. And obviously the scriptural quotations given by Rupa Goswami in this book. So now next is the references. What are the references? Yes, read the slide.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. From Padma Purana, wherein the sage Vasishtha tells King Dilipa, "My dear king, everyone has the right to execute devotional service, just as he has the right to take bath in the month of Magha, December to January."
Yeah. So in the month of Magha, there is a Magha Mela. Just like Kumbh Mela is there once in 3 years. So like that, Magha Mela is every year. In the month of Magh, December, January, generally people take bath in the holy rivers. So Ganga, Yamuna, or Godavari, like that. So then there is no restriction who can take that bath. There is no control or restriction. Anybody can take bath. So here Vasishtha Muni is telling King Dilipa, just like anyone is allowed to take bath in Magha, month of Magha, similarly, everyone has the right to execute devotional service. So this is the first reference given by Rupa Goswami Pad. And then further he says this. Yes, read.
There is more evidence in the Skanda Purana, in the Kasi Kanda portion, where it is said, in the country known as Mayura Dwaja,
Mayura Dhwaja.
Mayura Dwaja, the lower caste people who are considered less than Shudras are also initiated in the Vaishnava cult of devotional service. And when they are properly dressed with tilaka on their bodies and beads in their hands and on their necks, they appear to be coming from Vaikuntha. In fact, they look so very beautiful that immediately they surpass the ordinary Brahmanas.
See here another quotation. That people who are considered less than Shudras. And how are they looking? They are looking as if they are coming from Vaikuntha. And they are so beautiful that they surpass the ordinary Brahmanas. That is the power of devotional service. And we can practically see this. Those who have been practicing for long, We can have the experience that how devotees earlier they would were looking, and then after practice of some years, their face gets brighten up. So this is a real fact which we can actually see. So this is another evidence given by Rupa Goswami. And then another example is given by Sanatan Goswami from Hari Bhakti Vilas. He tells that just like bell metal turns to gold with the process of alchemy, similarly, anyone can, if anyone is under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master, then such spiritual master can turn anyone to become a Vaishnava. So this is the third quotation. So advancement and perfection in devotional service is open to all people equally, regardless of birth. This is what we have till now understood. Okay. Okay. So then, now next. Yeah. So Vedic duties, purity. So we already discussed that there are so many requisites for other processes. But and this is for devotional service. So yes, somebody can read the next paragraph. Srila Rupa Goswami warns.
Srila Rupa Goswami specifically mentions herein that every man has the birthright to accept devotional service and to become Krishna conscious.
Not that. Srila Rupa Goswami warns, however, that if a person.
Next page, Prabhuji. Oh, okay. Srila Rupa Goswami warns, however, that if a person is properly initiated by a bona fide spiritual master, he should not think that simply by the acceptance of such initiation, his business is then finished. One still has to follow the rules and regulations very carefully. If after accepting the spiritual master and being initiated, one does not follow the rules and regulations of devotional service, then he is again fallen. One must be very vigilant to remember that he is a part and parcel of the transcendental body of Krishna, and that it is his duty as part and parcel to give service to the whole or Krishna. If we do not render service to Krishna, then again we will fall down. In other words, simply becoming initiated does not elevate one to the position of a higher class Brahmana. One also has to discharge the duties and follow the regulative principles very rigidly.
So this is a common problem. Are you getting any background disturbances?
No problem.
Okay, because there is Aarti going on below in the temple, and I have to shift my position because of internet issues. Fine. So, what I was saying is, this is a very, very important point mentioned by Rupa Goswami, that although the previous paragraph said that one can be raised to the platform of topmost position of a Brahmana by association with a very high class Vaishnava who is in the position of a guru. What happens is somebody becomes, or he comes to the position of becoming a topmost position of a Brahmana. But when somebody is elevated to such a position, it is also his duty that he should be careful to follow all the rules and regulations. He should not think that, okay, now I'm initiated, so it's done. I have got something. No. He should be very, very vigilant, as Prabhupada is mentioning. Vigilant that I am part and parcel of the transcendental body of Krishna, and therefore my duty is to serve Krishna. Never should we come to the position wherein we think something different than this. Today only one devotee, very nice thing he shared with me. Yeah. So he says, Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj quoted one verse in one of the lecture. He saying, Ajirnam tapasa krodho, jnanajirnam cha ahankruti, parivedanam kriyajirnam, annajirnam visuchika. So he's saying that ajirnam tapasa krodho. If you are performing tapasya, and if you are not able to digest the tapasya that you are doing, the result is krodha. The indigestion of your performance of austerity results into anger. And if you are practicing or gathering too much of knowledge, and if you are not able to digest that, then that results in ahankar or arrogance. And at the same time, if your actions you are not able to digest, then it leads to bitter lamentation. Oh, why did I do that? I should not have done that. Like that. And if somebody is not able to digest the food, then he gets disease like cholera. So why I was mentioning this is that same thing. We have got now this wonderful path of devotional service. We have got a spiritual master. Eventually, we will get initiated. But that should not become an indigestion to us. If it becomes, then it will come out in a wrong way. And then a devotee may fall down from his position. But now something good is also coming up. This is something little bit fearful, fearful in the sense it is cautioning us, it is giving some warning. But at the same time, then what happens if somehow or other somebody falls down due to some unfortunate situation? He falls down, then what? What should he do? So the answer is given in the next paragraph. Yes, somebody can read it.
Hare Krishna. Srila Goswami also says that if one is regularly discharging devotional service, there will be no fall down. But even if circumstantially there is some fall down, the Vaishnava need have nothing to do with the prayashit, the ritualistic ceremony for purification. If someone falls from the principles of devotional service, he need not take to the prayashita performances for reformation. He simply had to execute the rules and regulations for discharging devotional service, and this is sufficient reinstatement. This is the message of Vaishnava devotional.
Yes, thank you. Just a minute. So, here a very, very important point is being mentioned. What is that? Generally, in the other processes, if while practicing you fall down from your position, then you have to take up prayashchitta. So that prayashchitta is, for example, you might have all heard this. If you kill a cat, then of equal amount of that cat's weight, you have to give gold in donation to some brahmana in Varanasi or Kashi. So this is a big prayashchitta, very difficult. So like that, so many prayashchitta are mentioned in the scriptures if somebody falls from his position. But if a devotee is falling from his position, then there is no prayashchitta. He simply has to continue his execution of his rules and regulations of discharging devotional service. And Prabhupada is mentioning this is sufficient for his reinstatement. Again, he reinstates himself to that position. So, during the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's times, there was one person, Subuddhi Rai. He was a servant under Nawab Hussain Shah. So, what was happened that when he was Hussain Shah, that he was young, that time he was actually servant in the house of Subuddhi Rai. And Subudra was actually very lovingly taking care of him. And whenever he would do some mistake, then Subudra would correct him. And once he chastised him with a cane, he gave some, phatka. So there was a mark on his back, Hussein Shah. And eventually, the influence of time, that Hussein Shah became the Nawab. And then Subudira was a servant in his, you know, government. Or he was a servant in the sense he was a governor. So then, what happened is his wife, Nawab Hussain Shah's wife, asked him, "How did this happen?" So he said, "This happened like this. He's like my father, and he was teaching me, but then I was not listening, so he gave me a beating." He says, "No, no, this is not good. I don't like this. You should also give him beating." I say, "Oh, no, no, I cannot do that. He's like my father only. He may be of different religion, but I respect him like father." So he says, "No, no, you should do something. I cannot tolerate this. He has done this to you. So you should at least turn him to, you should contaminate him by sprinkling water on him." So in those days, the system was if a Muslim will sprinkle water, then your caste is gone. So then, based on following the instruction of his wife, he did that. And then he was disturbed, Subudhi. And he was going to various Brahmanas asking what I should do now, what I should do now. So somebody was giving some option, somebody was giving some option. Finally, no, actually, many of they said there is no prayashit only, you are doomed actually. And then finally, one person said, "No, there is one prayashit." What is that prayashit? You have to drink a liter full of hot boiling ghee. Now, if somebody drinks hot boiling ghee, then what will happen? He will not remain alive only. So indirectly he said, by drinking ghee, you have to give up life. Then you will get again good birth. That is what the proposition of those people. So he was wondering, "Arey, this is too much. There should be something." And then finally he meets Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then Mahaprabhu says, "There is no need to do anything. You just go to Vrindavan, you chant the holy name, and serve the Vaishnavas, and live very simply over there." And then Mahaprabhu explains that how chanting is so powerful that it destroys sinful reactions, and we have already seen that about Kleshagni and all those things. So I'll not go into this. So then what the point I'm trying to say is that in devotional service, actually there is no prayashit as such. So if we have fallen down due to some reason from our position, the only thing that we have to do is again take up to devotional service. And the example is given just like we see a small child, he is trying to learn how to walk. And when he is trying to learn walk, sometimes he falls down. So the verse comes that while walking, one falls down. One person, what he does, so that time he takes help of the same bhumi to get up. So similarly, devotional service is like that. One while following, one may have fallen down, but then he takes help of the same devotional service. So this is how glorious the devotional service is. This type of facility is not available in any other path. It is very, very unique. Like that. So where are we? Yeah. So then the only fault that devotee is having is that he missed to perform the bhakti properly. So then that is the only fault. Okay. So no need to undergo separate prayashita. Then the quotation is given by Rupa Goswami. Yes, read this in the slide.
Srimad Bhagavatam 11.21.2. The distinction between qualification and disqualification may be made in this way. Persons who are already elevated in discharging devotional services will never again take shelter of the processes of fruitive activities or philosophical speculations. If one sticks to devotional service and is conducted by regulative principles given by the authorities and acharyas, that is the best qualification.
While engaging in devotional service, he will not take shelter of fruitive activity. Means something happened, oh, then let me do some prayaschitta here and there. No, he will simply stick to the devotional service and as given by the acharyas. Like in the initial days, when we come up to chanting the holy name, then initially we are chanting less. Then finally we come to the point of 16 rounds. And as we are practicing and chanting, so sometimes it happens in the initial time, we somehow forget, oh, my 2 rounds were remaining, and it remained like that only. Next day morning, when we take our mala, we find that, oh, only 14 are down, 2 are remaining up only. Then what to do? What is the prayaschitta? So prayaschitta is chant 2 more extra rounds. That is the prayaschitta. So instead of chanting now today 16, you chant 18. Or not 18, more than that, 20. Yesterday's 2 was remaining, that you complete. And then you chant your today's 16, that is 18. And then as a prayaschitta, you chant 2 more rounds. So that you remember, ki now I don't want to forget my chanting. So this is how. But in other processes, it's not like that. Then you have to do some other activity. You have to take shelter of some other karma kand activity. But a devotee will never do that.
Hare Krishna.
Now come. Yes.
If you do Vaishnava aparadh, will definitely fall down. Will you again rise up from that state? Is it possible?
Yes, it is possible. How it is possible?
I'm asking Prabhuji.
So there is possibility. Anybody would like to answer how a person who has committed Vaishnava aparadh can rise back?
By Vaishnav Seva only, Prabhuji.
Asking the forgiveness, Prabhuji.
Beg for
One by one,
forgiveness.
if you answer, it will be nice so that everyone. Yes, Pallavi Mataji, first you can speak.
By doing Vaishnav Seva only, Prabhuji, again.
Okay. Yes, Janvi Mataji.
Asking the forgiveness, Prabhuji.
Okay. Anybody else?
Prabhuji, it is the attitude.
Yes, Sanjay bro.
It is the attitude, and therefore, if the individual realizes that the individual has done a Vaishnava aparadh and corrects their attitude and does the right kind of a seva and follows the Acharya's principles, then they can be relieved of their aparadh.
It is like admitting one's mistake in front of the Vaishnava against which committed mistakes and then ask for the forgiveness.
Okay. One more.
If that Vaishnava forgives, Prabhu, if that Vaishnava forgives.
Chanting, Prabhuji, chanting.
Vaishnava forgives, then he will be able to reinstate. That's what you want to say?
Yes, Prabhu. To whom he has insulted, same Vaishnava, if he forgives.
Okay. Yes, Mayur Prabhu.
Chanting, Prabhuji, chanting.
Chanting. Okay. Very good.
Prabhuji, just want to add, Prabhuji. So we have to ask the forgiveness from that particular Vaishnava. In case if the Vaishnava is not ready to forgive, then we have to take the shelter of holy name and keep more chanting so that we'll get that forgiveness.
So, His Holiness Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, he conducts a seminar on Japa Ashray. So, anyone of you have attended that? Okay. So, in that he mentions this point about Vaishnava Aparadh. So, all of you have answered very correctly. So, he also asks the same thing, first of all, what all things we should do. So, then the things boil down to this only. That first and foremost thing is one should beg forgiveness from the Vaishnava whom we have offended. Question is, do we get the guts even to beg the forgiveness? So if you are not getting the guts to beg forgiveness, then what will we do?
Plead for Lord's mercy by more chanting.
Okay, pray. What else? Because now this topic has come up, so I am just, going into
Maybe
it.
confess
Prabhuji,
in front of, yeah, confess in front of Krishna, Prabhuji. Maybe.
Confess, okay.
Hmm.
Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, I confess in front of Guru Maharaj all Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada.
Okay. What else? I'm looking something more practical. These are also all correct answers.
Practically, when we feel that we have offended them, we'll be more nice to with them, Prabhuji. Practically nowadays. So.
But point is that only sometimes we also don't have the strength even to do nice or even to go in front of them.
Prabhuji, we can write it on a paper in a
Ah,
personal notebook
ah.
diary, something.
Okay, that's also good. Yes. Something more?
Do more seva for them, Prabhuji.
Again, yeah, then again, the same thing. Directly doing seva would also be little bit difficult because the person,
Appreciate
he will, whenever he will see us, he will, have a very different weird face. And then to serve such a person is again little bit difficult. At our level, I'm saying. One who has transcended everything, for him, it is not difficult. But at our level, it is difficult. But
appreciate
Prabhuji,
that is
I
them.
think
also answer. That is also there. Yes.
Prabhuji,
Appreciate
I
them,
think at
Prabhuji.
any condition we have to collect that gut to go to him and confess, because in the devotional service we have to keep that gut to say uh, sorry to him.
That is
It
correct,
is,
Prabhu. That
we
is
don't
correct,
have
Prabhu.
choice now. If we are in
No, what you are saying is correct. But still, the situations are such that we sometimes don't get. Yes, Chiranjeevi Prabhu.
Prabhuji, appreciate them and also will doing Mangalarti dance with them.
Appreciate them, dance with them. Okay. Good. Fine. So one of the answers which Maharaj gave in that session is we should also try to find who is a friend of that devotee. And then we try to seek help through that friend also. They're also very practical. Writing a note is also very one good option. And regarding service, somebody mentioned. So yes, service can be done, but services such which will not be noticed by them. So such services if we do like that. And then still if you find that even after doing all this thing that Vaishnava is not getting, peaceful, then what will you do?
You try to avoid such offenses.
That is okay, but right now already offended and he is hurt and he is not getting pacified.
Pray Krishna for his.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, we
Yeah,
should take the Charanaduli of them.
my God, that will aggravate the scene. So yes, Amrita Mataji said, again, point is, whatever we discussed till now, you continue doing all those points. Pray to Krishna, pray to Prabhupada, seek help from devotee, write letter, serve him, keep doing that. So then there is one other understanding behind this, that if it may also happen, we may have offended some devotee some place, and now either the devotee has shifted to some other place or we have shifted to some other place. So now there is no opportunity to directly meet him. In that case, then we, as Sanju Prabhu rightly said, that it is attitude. So we should cultivate the attitude of serving and avoiding offenses. And then wherever we are, or so that place we should begin our services and try to cultivate our right mood and attitude. And then eventually Krishna also sees our intention, our desires, and then gradually then he forgives us. And then one more thing which Prabhuji Maharaj mentions in that seminar, that's why it is also important that we should also learn the art of forgiveness when somebody insults us or offends us, so called. So then, if we are also ready to forgive, then somebody else will also forgive us. Yes.
Prabhuji, this is about knowing mistakes, unknowingly if we do some apradhas.
So for that, every day morning, every day morning we say Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha, or whenever we go to temple, we say Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha, when we enter the temple. So when we are praying that way, when we are reciting that mantra, we should meditate this only. That if I have unknowingly offended any Vaishnava, knowingly or unknowingly, you can say both. So please forgive me. Okay.
Prabhuji, I am having some question.
If it is an offense, then we will keep on hold because there is one full chapter by Rupa Goswami on these offenses. Okay, so we'll
Okay.
park the question right now, and that time we can take more.
Okay, Prabhuji. Right.
Yes. Because we have to also complete this chapter and next chapter also today. So, yeah, so this was all about Prayaschitta, that there is no Prayaschitta. And then now coming to the third thing, that is Varnashram Dharma. Yeah. So this is a very famous verse. Please recite with me. Tyaktva swadharmam charanambujam harer bhajanna pakvotha pate tato yadi yatra kvava bhadram abhudamushya kim ko vartha apto bhajatam swadharmataha. Let's read the translation.
Srimad Bhagavatam 1.5. Sri Narada Muni advises Vyasadeva thus: even if one does not execute a specific occupational duty but immediately takes direct shelter of the lotus feet of Hari Krishna, there will be no fault on his part, and in all circumstances his position is secure. Even if, by some bad association, he falls down while executing devotional service, or if he doesn't finish the complete course of devotional service and dies untimely, still he is not at a loss. A person who is simply discharging his occupational duty in Varna and Ashrama, however, with no Krishna consciousness, practically does not gain the true benefit of human life.
Yeah, so such a clear-cut explanation. No need of discussion only. So it may happen that while executing his specific occupational duty, one may be attracted to lotus feet of Lord Hari, and he immediately takes shelter of Lord Hari, giving up his occupational duty. One may be of some specific varna, or one may be in some different ashrama, and he gives it up everything and simply takes shelter of Krishna and practices devotional service. So then there is no fault on his part. So in general, if you see, Krishna has several times mentioned in Bhagavad Gita only. At least 2 times he has mentioned that one should perform one's own duty. One should not take to another duty that will create a problem. So better follow one's own duty. If like he's instructing Arjuna, you are Kshatriya and you are trying to become a Brahmana. You are saying that I will just take a begging bowl and go around and take bhiksha. So our Krishna is saying, no, you cannot do that because you have Kshatriya spirit. If somehow or other, if somebody doesn't give bhiksha, you may become angry upon him, and that will be all useless. So don't try to follow somebody else's dharma. You follow your dharma of Kshatriya. So that is told in Varnashrama system that one should follow one's own varna properly, not look at others and say, "Are uska zyada acha hai." Like the famous saying was, "The grass is greener on other side." Everyone feels that thing is much better than what I am doing. Hmm. That's not required. One just considers doing his own. But if giving up his occupational duty, he takes shelter of Krishna fully, hmm, then there is no fault in him. And that is what Krishna is also telling in Bhagavad Gita, which will also be quoted by Rupa Goswami ahead. Sarva dharman parityajya mekam sharanam vraja. Aham tvam sarvapapebhyo mokshayishyami ma shuchah. What it is mentioned here, Sarva dharman parityajya. You give up all your ideologies. You give up Sarva dharman is even varnashram dharma. Give it up. Sarva dharman parityajya. Mam ekam sharanam vraja. And take my shelter. Then one may question, oh, if I do that, will I be incurred by the sin? No, no, no. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami. I will deliver you from all kinds of sinful reactions. Ma shuchaha. Do not worry. And then one may say, ki, theek hai, one has given up his occupational duty and taken up to the shelter of Krishna. But what if he suddenly gives up even the Krishna bhakti? Or he has not perfected his life and he dies, then what will happen? Untimely death. So then this verse says, still there is no loss. This is said by Narad Muni. He's saying, still there is no loss, even if such a person practiced for some time and then falls from his position as a devotee, and again, no loss. That thing has gone permanent. Or if he suddenly dies untimely, then still he will get opportunity to practice it in next life. But if on the contrary, if somebody is simply practicing his occupational duty very nicely, properly, but doesn't have Krishna consciousness or he's not practicing devotional life, then what is the use? There is no gain or does not gain the true benefit of human life, as Prabhupada is translated. Then he doesn't get true benefit of human life. He may get some benefit. What is that? That he will be elevated gradually to mode of goodness. Practice of varnashram is aimed at making a person to come to the level of goodness. So he will certainly be getting some benefit, not that everything is lost, but as compared to what devotional service gives, varnashram is not giving that. So that way it's a loss. So that's why bhakti is not dependent on varnashram. Any person of any varna, any ashram can at any time take shelter of Lord directly. There is no bar. That is what is mentioned here. Okay. And then second quotation is from this. Karbhajan Muni addresses King Nimi. What is that? Devarshi bhutapta nrinam pitrinam na kinkaro nayam vrini cha rajan sarvatmanaya sharanam sharanyam gato mukundam parirutya kartum. Please read this.
Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5, 41 verse. Kala Bhajana Muni addresses Maharaja Nimi as follows. My dear king, if someone gives up his occupational duties as they are prescribed for the different varnas and ashramas, but takes complete shelter, surrendering himself unto the lotus feet of the Lord, such a person is no more a debtor, nor has he any obligation to perform the different kinds of activity we rendered to the great sages, ancestral, living entities, and family and society members. Nor has he any need to bother executing the five kinds of yajna sacrifices for becoming free from sinful contamination. Simply by discharging devotional service, he is freed from all kinds of obligations.
So you see here another quotation is given that one may give up one's occupational duty and take complete shelter of Lord. Then what happens? He is no more debtor. So Runi, the word Runi is used in this verse. That Runi is what? One who gets the run. So this is a very famous word. I think it must be there in Telugu also. So you don't become a debtor. To whom? Devarshi, Bhuta, Apta, Nrinam. So Devarshi is sages. Bhuta is other living entities. Other living entities are also doing so much help to us. The honeybee is giving honey, and so many other living entities are helping us. Apta is one's own relatives. Nrinam is other people. Pitrinam is ancestors. So then such person never remains a kinkara, nor he becomes a debtor for any of these category. But whom this is applied to? One sarvatmana ya sharanam sharanyam. One who has taken shelter of Mukunda. How? Sarvatmana, with all his heart and mind. So such person, he then never remains a debtor. Yes, Mayur Prabhu?
Prabhuji, can I ask question on this shloka?
Yes.
Prabhuji, sometimes many of my devotees said most of this we are saying no when we are doing Krishna Bhakti, it is only for the pure devotees that they are not debtor to anyone. If, for example, how I can explain you, there is a Shani dosh or Mangal dosh or any dosh, you have to do this Havan, you have to do this Yajna. Why we have to do that Yajna? Because we are not that what pure devotee. So we have to do this all type of what say karma kant.
So now, based on the discussions, whatever we had till now, what do you feel?
I don't feel that I have to do any karma kant. I just feel I should do chanting and chanting. But then also there are many barriers in life, in spiritual life also, Prabhuji.
So that is a correct understanding you have got, that we don't have to do anything. Just some time back we have discussed that if there is no prayashit also needed to do. Krishna is Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. Yeah, there may be Mangal dosh, there may be Shani dosh and this dosh and that. It is not so much disturbing your devotional service, then you should not so much bother about it. At the same time, if you have some disease, then what do? You continue simply chanting or you go to doctor?
Mostly we go to doctor, but we also do chanting also.
Yeah, you do chanting, but you certainly go to doctor.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So at the same way, if you are just taking aid of those particular activities, there is two things in this. One is having faith in that activity, that this activity is what is needed. Like as you said, Shani dosh or Mangal dosh, and I have to do this sacrifice and that sacrifice. So having a faith on that activity is a problem. Even when you go to doctor, we don't go to doctor with faith on doctor. We have faith on holy name only. As Prahlad Maharaj said very rightly in Bhagavatam, that, oh my Lord, if you have not given your mercy, then nobody can save a drowning man. Nobody can, mother and father, they cannot save their own child. Boat, a boat cannot save persons sitting inside. And the third thing is that a doctor cannot save a dying man if you have not given your mercy. So then what does that mean? That as a devotee of Lord, we have full faith on Lord and on the practice of devotional service. It's 8 o'clock. That is our faith. That is Shraddha. It is deeply rooted and it should be deeply rooted in this way. And as a part of aid, just like we take some medicines when we fall sick, if that things which whatever you are mentioning is Mangal dosh, Shani dosh, and this dosh, and Pitru dosh. If that is so much disturbing that you cannot do anything, then you may take aid, but you don't have faith on that. That by doing this, then I know my bhakti will increase. If you are feeling like that, then there is a problem. Your bhakti is not dependent on whether Shani dosh is gone or not. Your bhakti is not dependent whether the disease has gone or not. That is what is mentioned in this chapter. That devotional service is pure. It is not dependent on anything. One may be deceased, or one may be in healthy condition. One may have Mangal dosh, one may have Shani dosh, or so many other doshas, or Kala Sarpa dosh, or Pitri dosh. He may have all these doshas, but his devotional service is not dependent on that. But again, same thing. Like, let's say I get throat infection. Now I have to chant the holy name, but the throat infection is not allowing me to chant. Then what should I do? I should take some aid by which the throat infection can go. There will be some antibiotics or some Ayurvedic medicines or some gargle, this, that. No. And then I continue my chanting. So my aim is to chant. My aim is to serve. So that is how it should be. But again, as you mentioned, it should be the last resort. Not that something happened, somebody said, that's why I do it. No, there's no need. As long as you're not in a difficulty, as long as your things are going well, then there's no problem. And even if there is difficulty, if you have still faith, like Kunti Maharani had, all these difficulties, she's saying, let them come more. Why? Because when difficulties come, I am able to remember Krishna more. So in the same way, if in our difficulty, if we are able to remember Krishna more, then there is absolutely no need to do any other thing. There is no you need even to take medicines. If we are able to remember Krishna, even in all our difficulties. But if that difficulties are creating such a trouble that we are not able to even do our basic devotional activities, then there is no problem in taking aid. But again, I am telling, it is not based on the faith. That devotee should not have faith on those activities. The faith is on holy name only. The faith is on chanting only. Okay?
Okay, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So this is explained over here in this way, that one doesn't become a debtor or servant. Yeah. So even after this also, I have skipped two more quotations which are there in this chapter, which you can read at your own convenience. And then finally, Prabhupada explains. So we'll read this part because that is very important. The paragraph which starts with that same thing is still more emphatically confirmed. You're able to look at this paragraph? So in that, after the translation is completed, read, the purport is that as soon as.
The purport is that as soon as a man takes his birth, he is immediately indebted to so many sources. He is indebted to the great sages because he profits by reading their authoritative scriptures and books. For example, we take advantage of books written by Vyasadeva. Vyasadeva has left for all of us the Vedas. Before Vyasadeva's writing, the Vedic literature was simply heard, and the disciples would learn the mantras quickly by hearing and not by reading. Later on, Vyasadeva thought it was wise to write down the Vedas because in this age people are short memoried and unable to remember all the instructions given by the spiritual master. Therefore, he left all the Vedic knowledge in the form of books such as Puranas, Vedanta, Mahabharata, and Srimad Bhagavatam.
Yes, somebody can read ahead.
There are many other sages like Shankaracharya, Gautama Muni, and Narada Muni, to whom we are indebted because we take advantage of their knowledge. Similarly, we are obliged to our forefathers because we take our birth in a particular family where we take all advantages and inherit property. Therefore, we are indebted to the forefathers and have to offer them pinda, prasada after they are dead. Similarly, to the people in general, we are also indebted, as well as to our relatives, friends, and even animals such as cows and dogs who render us so much service. Thank you.
So now in this one important point to be discussed about offering pinda to the forefathers. So one who has taken full shelter. Actually, what Mahaprabhu was mentioning is a very important point. So this verse actually talks in that sense only. If you see that one who has taken complete shelter, So this pindadan and all things are not required. But then, as devotee, whether one should do it or not, that always remains a question. If you see even Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu performed this by going to Gaya for his departed father, So what is the explanation given? That as devotees, we are supposed to set an example in the society for ordinary people to follow at least the basic dharma. If they are not even following basic dharma, then they are actually only doing adharmic activities. So when they see, oh, devotee is also doing this, okay, let me also do then, So then that way the example is set. So with the mood of setting example, again, the same point. There is no faith. Already we know that our ancestors have got benefit by my practice of Krishna consciousness. And the more I practice seriously, the more I become a good devotee, the more ancestors will be benefited. This is always there. There is no doubt in that. But just to set an example in the society, if one does that also additionally, so then it is not going causing any harm. But in true sense, one is not actually a debtor to ancestors if one takes full shelter of Krishna. That's why the word here for Krishna is also used very chosen word, that is Mukunda. Mukunda is Mukti Dadati Yah Mukunda. One who can deliver us, that is called as Mukunda. So he can deliver us from all these obligations and debts. But then one just do it for the sake of setting example. Again, and again, then that does not mean one can do any kind of activity to set example. Like then one will say, okay, then I will do some demigod worship also to set example. No, not like that. We have to see that that should not harm the basic core principle of devotional service. That also has to be very, very clearly seen. Otherwise, then we will be deviant ourselves, and then we will be also creating difficulty for others, to properly follow. Yes. Next paragraph, somebody can read.
This way, we are indebted to the demigods, to the forefathers, to the sages, to the animals, and to society in general. It is our duty to repay them all by proper discharge of service. But by one stroke of devotional service, if someone gives up all obligations and simply surrenders unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is no longer a debtor, not obliged to any other source of benefit.
So again, Prabhupada mentioned here, if someone gives up all of it, simply surrenders. So this simply surrender word has a very deep meaning. So that type of surrender, if somebody has, then certainly he has nothing to do in his life. Yes. Never Prabhupada talks about the same Sarvadharman verse. And you can go to the next paragraph. There is additional evidence in Agastya Samhita.
There is additional evidence in the Agastya Samhita. As the regulative principles of scriptures are not required by a liberated person, so the ritualistic principles indicated in the Vedic supplements are also not required for a person duly engaged in the service of Lord Ramachandra. In other words, the devotees of Lord Ramachandra or Krishna are already liberated persons and are not required to follow all the regulative principles mentioned in the ritualistic portion of the Vedic literature.
So, liberated persons, there are no regulative principles. Similarly, for a person engaged in the service of Lord Ramchandra, now this verse is talking little differently. Here we get little more clear understanding that person duly engaged in service of Lord. For him also, there are no ritualistic principles. But again, duly engaged. So his engagement should be completely in the service of the Lord. Yes, Sanjay Prabhu, you have some question?
Yeah, Prabhuji, going back to what was mentioned in this particular Srimad Bhagavatam Shloka 1.5.17. Now, for a Grihastha who is supposed to perform his duties as a Grihastha, if he leaves everything and takes the shelter of the Supreme at the lotus feet of Hari, it says that there is no fault on his part, but he is not performing his duties of a Grihastha. So, how does that go in line with what the verse reads, Prabhuji?
Actually, it is that only, that even as a Grahastha, one gives up his all activities. Maybe his children are still not yet matured enough, and he goes and takes shelter of the Lord. So even to that extreme it is mentioned. There is no fault.
There is no fault, okay.
And may happen after some practice, then probably is that sentiment which he was having has a little bit gone down. And then he comes to normalcy and he feels, why did I do like this? I should not have, done like that. And then he goes back. That is also not a fault.
Okay.
That is also not a fault. And then he he comes back and he again continues his activity as a grahastha. And simultaneously now he is focused on devotional activities also. Earlier, he was only worried about, as a grahastha, how I should maintain the family. And then suddenly he got this spike of sentiment, surge of sentiment in his heart, maybe due to some association of devotee or some, place which he visited, something, whatever the trigger may be. And then he suddenly gives up his family life and goes to some holy dham and stays for some time. But this is very important to understand that he has really taken shelter of the Lord and performing devotional service. So that we cannot, I mean to say, judge others, first of all. And second thing, we have to take inventory of our own consciousness, whether actually I am in this way taken shelter of the Lord or not. So then there is no fault. Is it okay?
Yeah, Prabhuji, thank you.
Yes, Chiranjeev.
Prabhuji, on the similar lines, I heard that Sridhar Swami Maharaj also renounced family.
Yes, very apt example.
Yes,
Thank you for bringing this out. Sridhar Swami was a grahastha, and what happened is, as soon as his wife gave birth, suddenly, due to some issues, she left the body. So then now Sridhar Swami was wondering how I can take care of the child, and at the same time how I can practice devotional service. It's also difficult. At that same moment, what he saw gave him the idea. He saw a very small young one of lizard fell down from top ceiling. It quite happens quite naturally. You might have seen sometimes the lizard falls down, and the lizard fell down, that small baby lizard, and then she found one small insect which was crawling nearby, and then the lizard took out her tongue and ate the insect. So this one thing gave the conviction and faith in Sridhar Swami that who has arranged this insect for this lizard, baby lizard? It is Lord. So similarly, this baby who is here, for him also Lord will arrange something and he will take care of them. Why should I worry? And with such great, deep faith, he leaves the home. And there is no fault on his part. So that is what the explanation is given. Now, if you see this in moral principles, one may feel, अरे क्या ये, such a hard-hearted person, अभी अभी बच्चा जन्म को नहीं आया और सब छोड़ के चला गया, कितना क्रूर हृदय का है ये, such a hard-hearted person. From material point of view, it is like that. But from devotional point of view, there is no fault. So it is not so hard to understand, but certainly very difficult to follow. And why that is because we certainly don't have that type of faith, or we don't have that type of conviction. The solution is simple, as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has told to anyone whom he met on his path to South India. So this happened in the Kurma Kshetra. There he met one Brahmana, Kurma Brahmana, and he says, "Oh my Lord, now I am willing that I should just follow you behind you, giving up my family life, because there are so many troubles in this family life. I don't want to follow. I just want to follow you." So then Lord Chaitanya says, "Oh, my dear Brahmana, don't speak such words ever again." So Mahaprabhu is not encouraging him to give up. So then what he is saying? He's saying, you just simply chant the holy name of the Lord. And as you are chanting the holy name of Lord, you teach others that Krishna Mata, Krishna Pita, Krishna Dhana Pran. So you give the same message to others. By that, you will not feel the pangs of the distress of family life or material life in general. So that is the instruction given by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to any grahastha he met in his South India tour. So then that equally applies to all of us. So wherever we are, sthane sthita shrutigata tanuvang manobhir, Brahmaji prays that one should simply stay at his own place, and he should hear the beautiful pastimes of the Lord, and by his mouth and his body he should render service to the Lord. So we are not in this position of giving up everything and taking full shelter of the Lord, but at least we can do these things. And Prabhupada has given a solid program in this form of book distribution, Harinam Sankirtan. This is like giving out Krishna to others. And for ourselves, Prabhupada has given us daily Bhagavatam class and daily chanting of 16 rounds. So we chant the holy name, we hear the Bhagavatam, we energize ourselves, and then we go out and give Krishna to others. And that we do every day. Because we are still not fully connected with the Lord to get His complete mercy, which will continuously flow, and always it will flow. So that's why we need to take and give. And if we forget to take and simply keep giving, then also there will be a problem. And if we simply keep taking and don't give, then we are too selfish. And if we don't take and only give, then we are too foolish. So we should have balance of both of this. Okay. So this concludes chapter 5. And then chapter 6, which is entitled as How to Discharge Devotional Service. This is a very small chapter. What it is mentioned here, Prabhupada says, all of the previous instructions imparted by Srila Rupa Goswami. I think this is something wrong has come up. This is not there. Yeah. So this 6th chapter is talking about the 64 items of sadhana bhakti. So Prabhupada mentions in the book in the beginning of, or somebody can read the first paragraph. 6th chapter, first paragraph. Those who have not yet read, yes.
Srila Rupa Goswami states that his elder brother Sanatana Goswami has compiled Haribhakti Vilasa for the guidance of the Vaishnavas, and therein has mentioned many rules and regulations to be followed by the Vaishnavas. Some of them are very important and prominent. And Srila Rupa Goswami will now mention these very important items for our benefit. The purport of this statement is that Srila Rupa Goswami proposes to mention only basic principles, not details. For example, a basic principle is that one has to accept a spiritual master. Exactly how one follows the instruction of his spiritual master is considered a detail. For example, if one is following the instruction of his spiritual master and that instruction is different from instructions of another spiritual master, this is called detailed information. But the basic principles of acceptance of a spiritual master is good everywhere, although the details may be different. Srila Rupa Goswami does not wish to enter into details here, but wants to place before us only the principles. Hare Krishna.
So, Sanatan Goswami in Hari Bhakti Vilas, he has given many rules and regulations for one to follow as a Vaishnava. And Rupa Goswami has chosen from them 64 important and prominent items. So, and then as Prabhupada is mentioning that Rupa Goswami is mentioning the basic principles. He is not talking about details. So the first instruction is accepting the shelter of lotus feet of a bona fide spiritual master. That is the first one. So then Prabhupada is giving example that one may have accepted somebody as his spiritual master, and let's say that spiritual master you should every day go for book distribution. And then there is another B spiritual master who gives his disciple instruction that you should go for Harinam every day. And then there is a C spiritual master who gives instruction that you should engage yourself in deity worship most of the part of your day. So now the principle is what? To accept spiritual master and take instructions from him. That is the principle. And detail is what? That the what instruction you are getting, that is the detail. So Rupa Goswami is not talking about those details, but he will be explaining us the basic principles. Okay. So now you see in this slide, these 64 items are categorized. There are first 20 items which are of preliminary importance. And then there are 44 additional items of service. That all becomes 64. Now in these 20 items also there is division again. First 10 are pravrutti, that is the do's. What all things we should do? That is mentioned. And what will be the next 10? Any guess?
Don'ts.
Yes. Nivritti. So we heard in this definition of pure devotional service, Anushilanam. Anushilanam means activity, and that activity are two types, pravrutti and nivritti. So that is here mentioned. This is Anushilanam only. All these 64 items are Anushilanam. And then the first 10 are pravrutti, second 10 are nivritti. And in 44, again there is two division. From item number 21 to 59, they are categorized as other items. And then 60 to 64 items, they are repetition of first 59 items. So 60 to 64 are the 5 most potent items. But they are not new. They are there in 1 to 59 only. They are again stated back because they are very, very powerful. Powerful in what sense? That we will see very soon. Yeah. So here you can see that out of the first 20, the first 3 are most important, most essential preparatory items. What is that? Guru Padashrayas means accepting the shelter of a spiritual master. This is the first item. which is very much essential preparatory item. Second is Tasmat Krishna Dikshadi Shikshanam. That one should accept Diksha and Shiksha, being initiated and guided by spiritual master. And Vishrambhena Guru Seva is the third one. Means one should serve the spiritual master with great respect. So these are the three very, very important preliminary preparatory items. Similarly, the 5 most potent items are mentioned. So what is definition of sadhana bhakti? Sadhana bhakti is that which awakens the bhav within the heart of sadhaka. The bhav is already there. It is awakened by practice of certain activities, which are the 64 items. And out of these 64 items, the 5 are very, very powerful to awaken that bhav. What are they? Basically, all 64 items are aimed at this purpose, and 5 of them are. So, last 5 which are mentioned, they are as follows. First is Priti Shri Murtir Angri Sevane. Shri Murtir Angri means the lotus feet of the deity. One should serve. How? Priti, with love. So that is the first point. Second is Shrimad Bhagavatarthanam Aswado Rasikai Saha. One should relish Bhagavatam with another devotee who is very expert in relishing Bhagavatam. That is very important. Rasikai. Muhuraho Rasika Bhuvi Bhavukaha. Third verse of Bhagavatam says that. So one who is expert in relishing Bhagavatam, we should read Bhagavatam with such a person. That is the second. Third is what? Sajati Yashe Snigde Sadhau Sangha Swato Vare. One should associate Sadhu Sangha. One should do Sadhu Sangha. But how? Sajati Yashe means like-minded. Snigdha means one who is affectionate. And Swato Vare, that means one who is superior to us in realization, in understanding, in relishing devotional service. It should be superior to us. He should be affectionate to us and equal-minded, like-minded. And then the fourth is Nama Sankirtanam, chanting the holy names of the Lord. And Mathura Mandale Sthiti, residing in Mathura Mandal, within the area of Mathura. So these are the most powerful practices. So here is the explanation about which items are mentioned in which chapter. So item number 1 to 18 is mentioned in chapter 7, which we will be seeing in our next session. And then item 19, which is specifically on the offenses, is separate chapter in itself. 20 to 42 is in chapter 9, 43 to 46 in chapter 10, 47 to 53 in 11, and 54 to 64 is 12. And then again, 13th chapter, 5 items of devotional service are again mentioned elaborately. So this is the division of the items and the chapter. Hare Krishna. Any questions?
Prabhuji, one question, Prabhuji. Here Srila Rupa Goswami also says worshipping the sacred trees like the banyan tree. Now, what is the significance of worshipping only a banyan tree, Prabhuji? I was not able to understand that.
We will come to that when we actually understand all the items one by one.
Sure.
This 6th chapter just list out all the items. And from 7th chapter, Rupa Goswami gives quotations for supporting the evidence for each item.
Sure.
There will come to. Okay. So something has come up in the chat. What's that? Achha, that is something old. Fine. So thank you all very much. Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu ki jai, Srila Rupa Goswami Pada ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Have a very happy Nirjala Ekadashi for those who are doing Nirjala.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Prabhuji.
Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you, Prabhu.